Hey, so welcome
So,
back to Canadians Leading with Impact. Troy and Kevin here. From time to time, we thought we'd just check in and talk about some of the things that we're seeing in the marketplace as Troy and I are running around working with different organizations and industries,
mhm,
and business leaders, owners, and we would share some trends that we're seeing out
yeah,
there in doing
right.
our work. And of course, one of the number one trends that is impacting organizations. Everyone say it with me.
Change.
Change.
Yeah.
Dealing with change, amazing amount of changes,
Yeah.
and AI, right?
Mm,
Everybody is talking about AI. I was just having a conversation with an executive, and I said, "How are you guys doing with AI?"
mm.
That's all I asked. And he said, "Oh, it's intense." And I'm
Oh,
like,
huh.
"What do you mean intense?" He's like,
Yeah.
there's this sense of massive amount of change
Mm,
happening or on the horizon here, and
yeah.
it's like they're anxious about it, keeping
Right.
up with it. Isn't that what you're
Right.
seeing
Oh,
too?
yeah. Totally. One thing I know, like boards of companies, and those that advise companies, they're constantly talking, they're asking the CEO and the executive team, okay, so what's your strategy? And so the pressure is really on for these people running companies. And I'm hearing it like all over the place. How do we, they don't know where to start. And then when they start, it's like a real, it's not going quickly, not quickly enough. And I think the fear is, and that's why the boards are asking them, if you guys aren't keeping up, there's going to
Mhm.
be a competitor doing it as well. So what are you doing to change? What are you doing to keep up with this? That's what I'm seeing. So
Right. And we've just ran a series of webinars on the AI tsunami. What was
yeah.
the gist of that? The big
Yeah.
thinking that you led.
Right. Well, it seems like the idea that there's just so much coming so fast. And I know we use the analogy about if you double a penny
Mhm.
every day, how soon does it grow into $1 billion, right? And it doesn't look like anything, right? You double 2 cents and 4 cents and 8 cents, and it grows so slowly. You don't see it.
Mhm.
And then by the time you're, what is it? I think into the second month, you're going to be at $1 billion. But that whole first part doesn't show. And it's just like with agentic AI and with robotics, things are speeding up so quickly
Mhm.
that the technology can do things. What are we in? Well, June, I guess, as we're recording this, but things like in January weren't even possible. Now it's possible, and it's going even faster. And
I think that people
that
are just
doubling is
waking up
happening. Yeah,
every day to the possibility,
yeah,
Like what we were doing in January, we're totally different today.
totally not doing that.
Totally
Yeah,
different. It's
yeah,
unbelievable to think.
right.
It's like every day that learning what we're doing as a group, as a team
Yeah,
is a totally innovative feeling,
totally.
brand new learning. So
Yeah,
organizations are all going
yeah,
through that. The core
yeah.
message I got out of your sessions was that we're looking at AI a little bit
Words.
wrong.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
like we're thinking of it mostly as productivity,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's great, and
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
is, and we always
yeah.
talk about AI will amplify human,
Mm,
like, and so
yeah.
if you have real capabilities and strategic thoughts and
Yeah.
you use it well, it's just going to amplify
Mm,
your capability and
yeah.
then make you 10 times more
Right.
effective. And so that's like productivity, like
100%. Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But organization, maybe you can explain, need to think about it in a different way.
Yeah. Well, I think the draw instantly is to the tools because you hear about that. What's the latest? What's GPT doing or Claude or Gemini or whatever?
Mm.
Yeah, everybody goes there, but organization, if you start there, it's like the wrong place. And so we say, go downstream. Like, why do you exist, first of all? As a business, why do you exist? Good question to ask, right?
First
Uh,
principles first, right?
First principles. Yeah.
Business
We
principles. Yeah.
we exist to serve a customer. Every business has that
Mm.
fundamental core, right? So look at the customer, your customer's customer. What are they being affected by AI? and robotics and automation. So look first there, then look at your own offering and say, can our offering support that? Does it need to change? Probably does, right?
Right.
If not, an enlightened competitor will be there. So then you look at, it's okay, if that's where they're going, how can our strategy support them if we want to stay in business with this kind of company? Then we go back to our culture. How is our culture going to live the strategy to
Mm.
serve? And then you get to the tools your team needs to support the culture and the strategy to go where you want to go.
Mm.
So for organizations, we think start there. It's an easier start. Like you'll shave so much stress out of your life, time out of your life. What is the customer facing? And you got to keep aware of it. You got to
Mm.
and analyze it every week or month. But still, if you're going there first, everything else will be streamlined and efficient. So that was the essence of those meetings.
Yeah. Yeah. So strategy first, as always, not
Mm,
tools or how to's.
right.
Of course,
Yep.
like that
Yep.
makes sense. But it's, anything shiny and new, we all run to
Oh,
the
oh yeah.
tools,
Me
right?
too.
Of
I
course,
love
early adopters and stuff will
it.
do and create. The phenomenon is creating things so fast that's not
Mm,
strategic, right? And
yeah.
for
Right.
and so that can be happening. In fact, I think that's what's
Yeah.
happening in organizations when some are early adopters are revolutionizing and creating, and others are hardly embracing. And you have this
Right.
disalignment, and hearing
Hmm.
large organizations when we're talking to them, impact that having on culture, on how they're thinking about leadership, like who's leading and why. They're adjusting positions, roles, and
Mm,
responsibilities, because if you don't have the leaders, managers using modern day thinking and tools, that's a risk to an
yeah.
organization. Major shifts
Yep.
certainly happening there. Comes back down to leadership and culture, and
Mm, yeah.
as always, culture is going to kill our strategies. And
Yep.
probably the best thing that we're doing right now is helping leadership teams think through
Mm,
their and get aligned around
right.
this,
Right.
and
Yeah.
just leading conversations to get aligned around this
Yeah.
fast.
Right. Well, we'll do a diagnostic, right, with the client and say, like, where are you positioned? And if you can have as many of your people in those conversations, like the first step to any change initiative has got to be awareness, right? Like, why are we changing? What's going on? And
Mm.
then when you're talking about it, the answers are doable. The answers, AI is not hard. It's
Right.
the initial thinking that is hard and getting the team around it. Once the team's around it, now you can
As
just
always, with anything, it's clarity that's hard. And
right.
so
Yeah.
clarity, strategy, clarity, buy-in, alignment. As
Hmm.
always, that's what's hard. And
Yeah.
asking any leader, manager, does your team see things the same way as
Yeah.
you do? Do they see the future the same way?
Mm.
Are they equipped this needed? Do they
Yeah.
see that the same way?
Right.
And they're saying, well, I'm not sure,
Sure.
So clarity, alignment,
Mm. Yeah.
as always, any
Right.
organization
Right.
is critical to
Right.
success. And
The one caution, I think, the psychological principle, what is it? The knowledge assumption, right?
Mhm.
That if I know it as the leader, we naturally assume, oh, everybody knows what I'm thinking, and they don't, right? You and I don't always know what's going on until we talk about it, right? And so we have to,
Yeah,
so if clarity comes when you make voice to your knowledge assumption or to the knowledge, then once you get
yeah,
everybody's head around it, like, well, the example in our business was we asked because we're pretty serious about making AI changes in our business, and we asked our team, we said, tell us how you use AI. And the vast majority of our team said, well, we call level one. They use it to Google, like almost like a Google search, right? Instead, or they use it to like clean up an email or something, right?
mm,
Where, well, that's the basic level. But until we knew that, we couldn't advance them to higher levels of
Right.
thinking or usage.
Right. And
And
coming up with levels, you know.
right.
Now
Yeah.
coaching them daily,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
among all kinds of
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
other things.
Right.
Well, communication, the challenge with communication or alignment is that we think we have it, right? We think communication has happened. That's always the
Right.
problem. It's the problem of and solution to, as always, right?
Yeah.
And that's, of course, is always one of those invisible barriers. If we're talking
Mm.
about invisible barriers that we're
Hmm.
that we're trending, that we see, that we're always studying this, studying change, transformation, and because that's the work we do, individual, team, organizational transformation. And so we've been studying it forever, and you see patterns and
Hmm.
underlying core principles or not often talked about
Mm.
invisible
Mm.
barriers to change. I call them the super glues. I'd run
Oh
meetings
yeah.
on what are the two super glues keeping you from change.
Right.
And there's a handful of them. One, and so we'll go through the four of them that we see. That's just
Can
always,
you list them first, and then
yeah,
we'll? Okay.
yeah. One is growth and comfort
Mm.
cannot coexist, right?
Right.
Growth and comfort are competing
Mm.
priorities for humans and teams and
Right.
organizations. Next is identity. We're in the personal domain, communications, human relations, influence, building trust with
Mm.
clients, and so identity is number two. Belief, what we believe,
Mm.
is number three, like our belief systems, our biases, etc. And automatic listening, and our automatic listening for things. So we'll go through all
Mm.
three of these. And these are when you get in conversations with
Mm.
executives or business owners, this is not the stuff they talk about, right?
Right.
These are not, but this is the underlying,
Yeah.
what they're dealing with. They recognize it all through
Right.
behavior, and
Yeah.
but it's not like we talk sales, customers,
Right.
operations, you name it.
Right. Right.
Maybe culture, maybe communication, maybe leadership, of course. And so, an underlying factor number one is growth and comfort that cannot coexist. And so,
Right.
there's all kinds of examples. Everybody relates to
Yeah.
this. We want growth, we want to develop, we want to achieve something, but
Mm.
intrinsically, we want comfort.
Right.
We
Yeah.
want survival and comfort,
Right.
and
Yeah.
we protect our comfort. We don't like to
Yeah.
be uncomfortable
I want to
all
be
the time.
I want
you
to be
know?
trim and fit. But in
Right.
order to do that, I gotta like put too much energy out at
Yeah.
the gym, and I
A
don't
lot of work,
appreciate
like
that. Yeah, that's right.
to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
and whether you like it or not, putting the
Mm.
time in the gym,
That's worked every
and
time it's
so
tried. Yeah.
it's not
That's
about liking it, it's about doing it, and
right.
it's sometimes often uncomfortable.
One other insight related is
Yeah.
I find if we focus on the process
Mm,
of getting to of growing or of the that's hard and like that's a drag, right? Like if I think about the outcome, I think that helps a little bit because I think we're lazy if we're fixated on the process, but if we're least focused on the outcome,
right.
it seems more I don't know, we get into action better or something. You know what I mean?
Well, what we forget all the time, you know, what our outcomes are.
Right.
It's an amazing thing. We sit down with a bunch of people, leaders, or and ask them, "What do you want? What's your outcomes? What are your goals?" And they'll say, "That's a good question." Oh yeah, like,
Yeah, I
so
did have some.
what are we doing
Yeah. Yeah.
if we're not super clear
Right.
about the outcomes? And again, what happens is once you clarify that,
Yeah.
you see people
Mm.
immediately become more inspired again, and
Yeah. Yeah.
take more strategic action, do hard things that
Mm,
otherwise, and it's all because of the outcome. We go
right.
pretty deep in this.
Yeah.
When elk, what kind of outcomes we're talking about,
Right.
and there's so much
Yeah.
science and all the work that we've
Sure.
done. If
I'd like to
outcome,
say, oh, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Well, you try it.
I was just gonna say problems are those ugly things we see when we take our eyes off our goals, right?
That's right.
It's
And and that's what we're talking about. Say in an organizational level, team level, management. I talk leadership or management in our leadership labs when we're working with just little managers and leaders of people running teams, leading teams, and trying to
mm,
get them to change and perform and hard stuff. And we talk about the tyranny of the urgent, and we think
mm,
about time management for leaders
yeah,
and we where do you spend your time, where are you putting your time, and of course all of them talk about into the urgent, into the crises, into the
yeah,
what's present here today.
yeah,
It needs immediate attention,
right,
right? And the challenge with that, and I'll argue that that's our comfort zone.
mm, yeah, I would say makes sense. Yeah.
So we
Mm,
like to respond. We like to. It feels good to knock solve a problem,
mm,
to come to the rescue, and that's our pattern or comfort zone. What is
yeah,
uncomfortable is when you talk to managers and leaders is in the tyranny of the urgent. What are the things that are wildly important but not urgent? And what are those things that are essentially will build the business, build the
right.
team, build the productivity. And some of those, of course, are relationship building, coaching, building people, you know, doing one on ones or
Yeah.
something, process improvement, planning, organizing. And when you put those up against each other, the important stuff that will actually build or
Mm,
the urgent things, the crises,
gotta
where
get
do we
done. Yeah,
gravitate? Everyone
yeah,
says, well, we naturally would gravitate to the,
sure.
urgent and guilty, right? And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and so that our comfort zone, unbeknownst to us, and this is what we're unbeknownst to us, we think we're being productive, helpful, and
Mm,
well-meaning,
mm,
and of course,
right, right.
but the uncomfortable thing to do is all the hard stuff
Yeah,
that of
yeah,
building the business,
right.
and we got to fight for that. You got to fight for it, and so
Mm,
this is the growth and comfort part at an
yeah,
organization level. And
yeah,
we
yeah.
learn all this from our work with Robert Fritz and
Hmm.
his the structural dynamics and the
Yeah,
underlying design and structures that rule us,
yep.
if and understanding that. And so the competing priorities is growth and comfort. And so we want growth. So we have growth effort. Everybody, all right, this is the new thing. Let's go.
Yep,
Let's
yep.
do it. Get organized. Inspiration. Off we go.
Yep,
And we get into that creator mode. And competing with that is keeping things the same.
right, right.
And as much as we get closer to the effort, of achieving the goal, under all that is keeping things the same because of our
Right.
comfort. And
Yeah.
in other words, our
Yeah.
patterns.
Yeah.
It's hard
What's
to keep
familiar
up
and comfortable. Yeah.
with
Okay.
familiar,
Yeah.
comfortable. And I'll always say if our patterns and rituals aren't producing something significantly new,
Mm.
be very aware, be very weary
Yeah. Yeah.
of that,
Yeah.
because then we're falling back into our old patterns and
Yeah.
habits, and and that will neutralize growth.
Right.
And if we
Right.
have a culture of that, etc. And
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
the thing to do is be, as a leader, man, just be aware of that,
Mm.
understand the
Right.
patterns,
Yeah.
and then start to make some decisions
Sure.
around that. And so that's one of the
Yeah.
super glues or invisible
Right.
barriers to
Yeah.
transformation and change, of course,
Right on. Nah.
for
Well said.
ourselves, teams, and
Yeah.
organizations. Another one I
What's number
like to
two?
I think, number two in this is, and it's closely related. These are all kind of closely related, but I like to distinguish them because we can think
Mm,
about them separately. Is automatic listening, and so when you study listening, it's an amazing thing. We even really listen to each other, like,
right.
or hear each other. We
Yeah.
it's
We
being
most
everything is being filtered.
yeah, we mostly just hear our own thinking and
Hmm.
yeah, you're right. We're filtering our own worldview through whatever someone else is saying. We never hear them. We hear ourselves taken through what they're saying. And the challenge is that we're never really hearing another person, first off, right? And we also make assumptions about what they're saying
Hmm.
based on our version of what they're saying.
Right.
And then we really try to communicate, but we still don't get there, right? We still,
Yeah.
it's clouded, right, by something that's truth. You never get to the
Yeah.
truth because
I was
there's
just
no
thinking of
one truth, right?
an example as you're talking. I was talking to an HR manager, manufacturing company, very technical, high tech kind of manufacturing company here in Southern Ontario. And he was talking to me, asking us, how could we port? And I was listening, and I got all kinds of, he's describing all kinds of opportunity for growth and change. And he sees it, and um, and I said, "Oh, it's a great opportunity. This is really going to make a difference for your teams and culture and business." And and we begun to brainstorm ideas and solutions. And that was met with, "No, that will never work here.
Huh.
That will never
Uh,
work here.
huh.
We can't do that." Ownership and leadership, they would never buy into something like that.
Mm,
He already had all
right.
this automatic
Uh,
listening of what is
yeah.
possible in the organization, and so he can't
Mm,
hear tried and true principles,
mm,
methodologies,
right.
possibilities, because it's filtering through that will never happen here. And
Right.
that's what,
Right.
that's what we're talking about, organizational automatic listening.
Right.
What's possible, what's not possible.
It's like the old thing, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're
Right.
because it's yeah.
And so you just
Yeah.
imagine teams sitting around in meetings, right? And
Yeah.
what should we do? How should we do it? And
Yeah.
all the ideas are, they're just filtered. That's not possible. Well, maybe we could
Right.
try that. We tried that in the past, or that's just like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and it just stalls
Mm,
creative thinking, innovation, and so uh, quite the underlying challenge. That's what's really going on in
mm,
conversations. So how do
right.
you innovate
Right.
when that's
Right.
going on? And so that's
Yeah.
certainly
Yeah.
another key barrier. Got to be super aware of that. What are people actually? It's like you were just saying earlier about our team. Like, how are they thinking about AI? They're
Mm,
not thinking about like we are. They
right.
have an
Right.
automatic listening, and
Yeah. Yeah.
hard to get through. Never mind, there's just our automatic listening with people. You know,
Mm,
um, let's see. I know your personality. I know what
right.
you're thinking, what you
Yeah.
do, how you do it.
Yeah. This is
Um,
probably what you're going to say next,
this is what
right?
you're gonna say.
Yeah.
This
This is
is
what
how
you
you're
mean when
gonna
you say
be.
it. Yeah.
And so, what are
Yeah.
you saying to me?
Right.
What do
I
you?
treat you like how
What,
I'm keeping you in my box and your box, right? So,
oh my
yeah.
gosh! And we bring that right to the table before something
Right.
happens. Like,
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
and you see that all over the place. They've already
Hmm.
made up their mind. We've made up our mind already,
Yeah.
and it's just not possible to
Right.
have a authentic,
Mm,
communication and hearing
right.
one another when that's happening.
Right.
So,
And it's not deliberate. It's not even a screw up you have, right? You're not a flawed person. It's just rigged into who you and I are, right? It's who we are as humans. And as leaders, you got to start with that awareness of this is already going on, right? And that's
mhm,
call it first, if
mhm.
you can remember to call it first, and then you can start catching yourself in your, but
Yeah,
we don't usually catch it.
yeah,
Most,
we don't. We're just invisible to, like we're
yeah.
just operating I don't
Yeah.
think anybody's meaning anything. They're not intending to,
No.
be malicious or so. It's
No,
just
no.
it's invisible,
Mm,
and certainly important for us to remember,
yeah.
of
Yeah.
course. And that's invisible. Number three is what I call identity, protecting our
Mm,
identity. And let me set this up. And we were just having a conversation about it. Um, we're talking about how guarded people were. What were we talking about when we were talking about the phenomenon of people being guarded in conversations? Do you
oh,
recall? Well, here's for years you ask people, why don't we just in with strangers or with even people we know or
mm,
work with, walk up and say, "Hey, how you doing? Nice to
mm,
see you. How are you?" Or
mm,
just engage with others. Like
right.
you're out and about, or you're at a
Yeah.
networking meeting, or you're at a corporate function, and
Yeah.
you walk up, you see
Right.
why don't we do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have my example. I'll tell you my example.
Yeah,
So the other day, I was 2 different days. I was at 2 different companies, and I won't say which they were, but one was a very financially oriented, highly technical. Actually, both were financially oriented. One was highly technical, one was more sales oriented. The highly technical one, I was getting ready to do a talk, and as people are coming in the room, nobody was making eye contact with. They avoided my eyes and moved to their table. And I go, this is interesting. And then so I went up to a few of them. I go, hey, how you doing? And as soon as I asked them, they were fully capable. And then we engaged in a
of
great
course.
conversation. Everything was good. And again, highly technical, very, I'll say math oriented people, science oriented people.
Left
Day two,
brain.
yeah, that's it. Left brain types. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
into thinking about whatever they're into
Yeah,
thinking about,
yeah, and they're
right?
very comfortable with it. Then the next day, I was at another organization, financial related, but not the same kind of world. But these were like branch managers, and they were more sales oriented people. And in this case, they all came right up to me and they shook my hand and they go, "Oh, hi, how are you?" And they asked me questions about myself. I
Mm.
didn't have to go up to anybody and go, "Oh, so how are
Right.
you?" It was different. And based on what you're saying, related to it in that how did you say it? Like, I know it relating to identity, but it was like
Got it.
people guarded. Yeah.
Yeah. What are we
Right.
guarding?
Yeah.
What are we
What are we
guarding?
guarding? Yeah.
At any point, we're guarding.
Right.
We're always guarding.
We're never going to be fully, this is who I am, like all the private stuff or anything
Well,
like that. Right.
your example, both parties,
Mm,
one's conditioned to engage as
mm,
salespeople,
yeah.
client facing, customer
Yeah.
service, conditioned to, that becomes their identity. And then they live that way. And when they aren't living that, it's threatening their identity because
Right.
it's who they are.
If they're not being social and out there and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know the people that are quite outspoken in meetings.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what's happening. It's their
Right.
identity.
Right.
They're
Right.
protecting it. They think it's
Mm,
their job or my role, to speak up and to share and
yeah.
or to
Yeah.
critique and complain or
Yeah.
whatever it
Well,
is.
and you just said they think it's their job. Like they take it as a responsibility almost, right? Like
Yeah,
I gotta be this persona I am unconsciously. They're not thinking that, but
right, right.
yeah, that was good.
Yeah, and so it's an identity thing. The other
Mm,
way is the other group is an identity
mm,
challenge as well. And so
mm,
what people describe is they are conscious of when they don't engage with people because of the short of it is fear of rejection,
right.
fear of, well, rejecting what? I always
Yeah,
ask,
right.
and well,
Yeah.
me being rejected and
Mm,
the idea,
yeah.
um,
Someone think less of me or something.
yeah, and I feel like an idiot or so
Mm,
whatever we
mm,
might feel like, and then people will say, well, I'm just shy, that's not me,
right.
like anyways, and
Mm,
that's okay. What's happening is we're protecting ourselves.
mm,
Right? We're always protecting ourselves. It's just deep in us, our
yeah.
reptilian
Yep.
brain limbic is we are protecting ourselves at all time, and people only come out when they
Mm,
feel safe.
right.
We're like animals, and
Yeah.
we come out at night, when we feel safe, and whatever's
Right.
safe to us is when
Yeah.
we come out. And
Mm,
so to get to the guarded part, so if we're always protecting how we look, and Dale
mm.
would say, remember dealing with people, you're not dealing with creatures of logic, you're dealing with creatures bristling with and
That's it.
motivated by pride and vanity.
Yeah.
Pride
Right.
and vanity.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
we're protecting our pride and vanity.
Mm,
And so at all times when we're communicating, working with people, we are protecting our identity. And I just find that, so how do you talk to people? Like when
right.
we're both being guarded and we're jockeying and we're looking for something comfortable, to
Yeah.
actually share. I just see this phenomenon all the time. Like, are people really saying the real things to me?
Right. Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
is this just posturing? And I really
Mm,
see it in group dynamics, of course.
right.
You know,
Right.
um, people not sharing, not speaking up, speaking. It's just a whole
Yeah.
host of group
Yeah. Yeah.
dynamics, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's happening. In and so how do you communicate? How do you build trust? How do
Right.
you make it safe so that we can share and
Yeah.
communicate?
Right.
Business lives, innovation lives, creativity lives in communication and working with people.
Right.
That's our
Right.
currency.
Yeah.
If we're
Right.
guarded and jockeying, how do you
Right.
really communicate? It just slows it down.
How do you make change happen, right? With that. Yeah.
And so,
It's
got to build
controlled
our,
communication. Yeah.
yeah, our confidence to communicate, because and
Mm,
we got to make it safe for people to share and
yeah.
communicate. And it's just,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the life and
Yeah.
teams and relationships. It's
Center. Yeah.
happening all the time. We see it like that's just the way it is, but
Mm,
it's an invisible barrier
right.
to constant change, growth, learning,
Mm, yeah.
building people, engaging with people, you name it. And that's why it's an invisible
Yeah.
force, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the last one is
Well,
belief,
yeah.
is what we believe is possible. Now, I think all in the other ones that it exists, and
Mm,
but I like to think about it, explore it.
mm,
What we believe is possible.
mm,
We only believe what is possible of like two different people have wildly different beliefs.
mm. Yeah. Yeah.
This is all possible. Oh my God, this
Right.
is not possible.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and they're both right. As you
Yeah.
and so that matters.
Mm,
And when you study organizational dynamics, I remember this doctor Hatala. I can't remember his name. As
mm,
managers and leaders, as we're talking about setting goals, and we set 10-15% more or something. The team, as they're listening to that, because you'd study this,
mm,
would how they're hearing how the goals are being presented, that
mm,
immediately everyone's going, oh yeah, that's
mm.
great, and seemingly buying in to new directions and goals. But underlying all that is, of course, they're automatic listening for it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But specifically, they believe it's possible or not, or believe I'm capable or not,
Mm, right.
automatically. And so they're dismissing the thinking immediately based on their current belief.
Right. Wouldn't even register
It
if their
registered
belief didn't allow it.
the um, it's because again we're protecting
Mm,
ourselves, we're protecting our identity, so we know we won't buy in and like, yeah, I'm gonna do it if you don't
right.
really
Yeah.
believe.
Right.
And so we get yeses, yeah, but what we also get what's really happening is I don't think they mean me.
Yeah.
I don't think they're
Mm,
talking about me,
right.
like me being responsible for this, because
Sure.
I don't believe.
Maybe our team, but not necessarily
Yeah, we
me.
weren't really talking
Others,
about
but yeah.
me is
Hmm.
um,
Interesting. Yeah.
and so the goals, an important distinction in setting goals is if people don't believe in the numbers, they won't even they won't ask for help. They won't communicate. Geez, I'm not sure I really believe in this.
Yeah.
They won't do that.
Right.
They don't.
Right.
I don't believe in these goals. I don't believe in this. I don't believe in
Yeah.
my quota. I don't believe in my. They
Uh-huh.
don't share that.
No.
They're protecting how they look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I can figure it out. Maybe, what happens, of course, we get back to our old patterns and habits
Mm.
and then no change or
Right.
whatever. And then
Yeah.
a boss or manager is wondering, well, what happened? I thought it was really
Right.
clear and everyone's all buy in. Oh, well, and then it comes out
Yeah.
then.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
we didn't believe in it in
Usually
the first place.
after a period of time that all a lot of things passed, but we never heard those doubts. We never that problems were never surfaced during that
Right.
time. And then
So how we introduce goals to get people to believe in is,
mm,
what are you saying? Just as a might help, a little is you introduce learning goals versus number
mm,
goals. Let's learn to do this in a short time frame. People are much more saying, okay, I think I can learn that, or how do
mm,
I learn that, or can you help me
mm,
with that?
mm.
Versus the big thing
Right.
scares everyone off.
Yeah,
So
that's a
how
good
we
point. Yeah.
introduce goals so we can
Mm,
introduce learning, and like how do you eat an elephant one step at a time. And so
right.
we could be turning off our teams how we're
Mm,
introducing goals.
yeah.
And
Well, I
that's not,
relate to it just
yeah,
that we're working with our team. We have some new brand new team members on our team, and they've not comfortable making phone calls. Partly it's a function of age, and partly it's a function of this type of call in this type of business, right?
yeah,
And so we were finding that people weren't doing that part that was we think is necessary to move things forward.
yeah.
And so to your point, to learning goals, we introduced, well, let's do some learning around this and let's practice the easy stuff first. And then we gradually made it a little more challenging, a little more challenging. Well,
Mm,
it was so cool because before you knew it, people were now confident and they were like, oh yeah, now they're setting goals that and they're explicit about it because they go, oh, I can do that. I have that sense.
mm.
And then they're doing it and they're getting results and that's positive feedback loop and which feeds on that next. That's how I related to what you just said with learning goals, right? It's yeah,
Right.
start there.
So if we're go make a bunch of phone calls, these are the amount of phone calls we got to make. Oh boy.
What?
Yeah. What are you talking about? you know,
Yeah.
to, okay, let's tackle this,
Yeah.
and let's get good at this. And that changes the belief. And
Right.
last thing we like talk about around belief is our belief of our potential. See potential, we believe in our potential in some areas, and we don't. It's, to be human is to
Yeah.
you see belief in like, and you believe in what you're good at, right? Like
Right.
what you're
Right.
confident in, your confidence, and of
Yeah.
course. But it's an amazing thing. We think our potential or competence, we sometimes mix up,
Mm.
and so an example, we always do a quick demonstration when you ask somebody, if their memory could, who here feels like your memory could be improved, and everyone's like, oh yeah, man, I
Oh
could
yeah, for
improve my
sure.
memory.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
good. And well, if you're to memorize 27 items in a few minutes, if you were to try to memorize these things, how many do you think you would get? And
Mm.
what's the average kind of answer that we seven? This is a number. It's an amazing thing. We've asked a million groups this.
Well, they
And,
teach it in psychology too, right? Your brain can hold up to 7 items, like a phone number or something, right?
huh,
That's the assumed number they teach in psychology,
is
right?
that
It's
right? So
yeah,
somehow it's like it is amazing.
yeah,
So we believe that that's possible, and people will defend that. Like,
mm,
oh man, that's not capable of any more than
mm,
that. And you hear him
yeah,
talk about it, right, emphatically.
yeah,
And then in a few minutes, with our coaching or support and encouragement
Yeah.
and stuff, they memorize all of them,
Yeah.
forwards and backwards, and
Yeah.
they can't believe it.
Right.
And no one in the group can believe this. And they didn't know that that was possible. And the point is, we're always operating from,
Mm.
we're capable of seven,
Right.
not 27. And 27 is absolutely possible. You know, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I liken it to like influence. I'll say something you can, in 2 days, you can become, and we prove this over and over again, 5 times more influential. Five
Mm.
times. And people are like, oh, I don't believe that. And by the end, they're like, oh, yeah, I gotta be 5 times more influential.
It's fun.
Because they didn't have the how, the structure, the
Mhm.
principles. And so, of course, that these beliefs are all these, what is socially known or popular as limited beliefs,
Yeah. Oh
right?
yeah.
But it's unconscious to us. It's invisible to us. We're operating from our beliefs all the time. We're not operating from, I'm going to have a breakthrough
No,
in
that's
this
right.
thing I'm working on as a
Yeah.
communicator, leader, sport, you name it. We're
Yeah.
operate from seven. Let's do a little continuous improvement here, maybe,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that holds teams, organizations
Right.
back, and it's invisible.
Right.
People, as you know, are far more capable.
Yeah. Yeah.
People, what's Dale saying? People have
Uh,
unsuspected powers.
right. I
Um,
can't remember the exact quote,
yeah, yeah,
but they're not even, yeah,
yeah.
aware.
Dale was
Yeah.
a philosopher, right? He wasn't,
Right.
he was a thinker, an observer of what
Hmm.
we're observing.
Yeah.
And then
Well, in,
he,
in many ways, I relate it to like AI these days, right?
mm,
Like with AI, you and I are able to do radically more. Why? Because it's not human and we are. So number one, we get bored. We can't stay with the task.
mm,
But if AI is like working on a math problem, it works on it multiple times, many times, right? So we do have some human limitations, and but one of them is we get bored. Another one is we get late. We're lazy, right? Or we only have so much energy. That's probably more. I might be enthusiastic about something, but I've only got so much
mm.
energy. I got to sleep at some point. I got to do something, right? And then there's now AI is augmenting what we can do because it can, if I'm giving a task to my AI to, help me with something, well, it can go. Now I see my belief in what's possible is growing. I'm relating it now to organizations is that as we equip more people with more tools, their belief in what's possible, but what's going to limit it, and what I saw in like an article I think I was mentioning to you earlier,
Mhm,
there was a study, it was an AI adoption and enterprise survey, and
mhm,
it said that they surveyed 1,200 non-technical employees using AI at work. And they said nearly all executives, 97% say their company deployed AI agents in the past year,
mm,
with 52% of employees already using them, more than half, just a little more.
mm.
AI usage is deeply embedded across organizations. 70% of employees and 94% of C-suite use AI tools for 30 minutes daily. My point, though, was that it's still not nearly the adoption. And that comes back to those change initiatives, right? Like
Mm,
they are investing heavily, but they're not getting the return because beliefs, the assumptions, the automatic listening,
mhm.
the identity.
Yeah,
I'm not an AI person, or
yeah,
we're not that kind of organization, right? It's all of these beliefs are holding organizations back. And CEOs or C-suite or senior leaders, owners, they've got to now shepherd their people past all of these invisible
mm.
barriers to get where they want to go or go out of business.
Yeah. Slowly, and then
It's
all of a sudden,
yeah,
go
right.
out of
Yeah, yeah,
business. It's just a slow thing, and then all of a
yeah.
sudden, if innovation, what you're talking about, those like adoption of the AI,
Yeah.
those invisible barriers that are slowing change
Mm,
and innovation.
yeah,
It's slow. Well, someone's
right.
going faster,
Yep.
and that's how business is
Right.
and life is.
Right.
So, what's a way through? I'm just thinking as you're talking about all that. I mean, leading's hard.
Yeah.
you know, leading change, leading innovation.
Yeah. It's
It's hard, especially maybe established organizations, right?
yes. Oh.
Cultures, established
Mm,
success,
right.
established identities, established brands. My word, to innovate, to lead change through that change, turn the ship. Smaller teams,
Yeah.
smaller organization can turn, pivot.
Agile. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
larger organization's hard to pivot.
The
Leading,
time it takes you to organize a meeting for the change, an individual or small team can have the change all done and
yeah,
to
it's already
market, right?
done.
It gets,
Yeah, by
yeah.
the time you think about,
Yeah.
so leading's hard. Awareness, number one.
Mm, yeah.
Uh, that you start with awareness. What are our patterns around change and
Right.
innovation and growth and comfort? What are our patterns? What's the automatic listenings
Yeah.
here, right?
Yeah.
Our awareness, beliefs,
Yeah.
and identities. How
Yeah.
impact we perceive that to be happening. And how do you lead through that? And it
Right.
starts with
Right.
awareness. And so,
Yeah. Well said.
well, that was great
Yeah.
talking that out with you.
Appreciate it. Help me see some of the things that holding our business back as well as our clients, right? How
Yeah,
can we
yeah,
make them explicit awareness and then
yeah.
with our clients, with each other and our teams, how do we
Right.
do this? So
Yeah,
good,
and
good
it
dialogue. Yeah.
yeah, this yeah, definitely triggering thoughts, for me, and I
Mm,
hope it's triggering thoughts for our customers and our market
yeah.
out there
Yeah.
to lead and be different, to create change and be more
Yeah.
competitive out there because we certainly need it right now. So,
Yeah. No, for sure.
well,
Yeah.
thanks for
Thanks
tuning
for the
in.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, folks.
Okay.
We'll see you soon.